Hey guys, this is Mrs. Porter. I know that one of the biggest things about summer reading or just reading in general is that students don't know what to read. So sometimes you guys just don't know what would be a good book, or you find something and you're just not into it. So I want to kind of give you some tools to help you figure out what books you might be interested in reading. So, we're going to kind of go through a quiz that you can take to figure out what genre you would like the most. So, you need to get something to write with and a piece of paper if you want to take this quiz. And the first thing that you would do is to write the letters A through N down the left-hand side of your paper. There's going to be some statements that come up on the following couple screens. For each question or for each statement, you're going to choose statements that fit you best. Try to choose 3 to 4. Put a tally mark next to the letter for each statement that applies to you. So if you read it and you think, yeah, I think I agree with that, or that sounds like me, you kind of put a tally mark next to whatever letter that was. So let's go ahead and get started. When you're with your friends, you like to spy on your neighbors, help find missing neighborhood pets, play role-playing games like EverQuest, Dungeons and Dragons, Star Wars, Warhammer, watch Modern Marvels or other shows about technology and the newest gadgets, sit around and talk about what's going on in your lives, help friends with problems at home or with relationships, talk on the phone, go shopping, accessorize outfits, play or watch football, basketball, baseball, or other sports. Watch ESPN Sports Center. Visit museums, art galleries, battlefields, historical sites. Watch scary movies. Watch Twilight and Vampire Academy over and over again. Look for new places to explore, go camping, draw cartoons or read comics, tell jokes, play practical jokes or just goof off, sing Disney songs at the top of your lungs, watch Disney movies, or create useful things with Legos, gears, popsicle sticks, etc. So if I were taking this quiz, I would definitely put a tally mark next to E, talk on the phone, go shopping, accessorize. I would probably put something next to G, because I like to go to museums and art galleries, and I would definitely put a tally mark next to M. So that's kind of how you go through this quiz. So whatever statement you feel like describes you, you're going to put a tally mark next to it. You can put as many as you want, but 3 to 4 is really the goal so that you get a good kind of idea of what type of book you like to read. If at any point I'm moving too fast, you can always pause it and read the statements yourself too. So, which of the following would you like to be? A crime scene investigator, a detective, or someone who works in forensics, a knight, a wizard, or a princess, an artificial intelligence expert, that's like robots or things like that, psychologist or psychiatrist, or a school guidance counselor, someone who owns a dating service, or a wedding planner, or a hairstylist, a sportscaster, or a professional athlete, or maybe a coach, a historian, a history teacher, a museum curator or a tour guide, a grave digger, a funeral director, work in a haunted house, a ghost hunter or a vampire hunter, a storm chaser, pirate, international spy, a graphic designer, video game creator, or a ninja warrior, comedian, someone who owns a joke store or a clown, a singer or songwriter or a storyteller, or someone who invents new technologies, writes computer programs, is an engineer, or maybe even a Navy SEAL. So if any of those kind of occupations appeal to you, put a tally mark next to those. Obviously, some of these are completely unrealistic, like a princess, but if we lived in an imaginary world and that's something you would like to be, go ahead and put a tally next to that. You love books or movies, so maybe you're not a big reader, but you like to watch movies that have crimes, puzzles, or mysteries to solve, have dragons, magic elves, and evil forces, take place in the future, have robots, cool gadgets, the setting may be outer space, have real people with real problems like abuse, divorce, illness, death, gangs, drug, real life type situations, have a great love story, have something to do with sports, tell a story that took place sometime in history, are gory or are so scary you sometimes lose sleep at night, have vampires, werewolves, ghosts, or zombies, have some sort of adventure or quest, lots of action, people who face harsh conditions like deserts, extreme cold, marooned on a desert island, etc. Have lots of pictures and violence doesn't bother you, makes you laugh, have romance, castles, magic, or a spin-off of a well-known story, or have an oppressive government, post-apocalypse, genetically altered people or animals. So if any of those books or movies are things that you find interesting, you would put a tally next to that one. So which movie or TV shows do you like best? So any of these that you kind of have seen before or that you are interested in, you'd put a tally mark next to those. CSI, Law and Order, Bones, old episodes of Scooby-Doo, Lord of the Rings, Chronicles of Narnia, Harry Potter, Independence Day, Transformers, Star Wars, My Sister's Keeper, Bridge to Terabithia, Basketball Diaries, Pretty Little Liars, Enchanted, Legally Blonde, Remember the Titans, The Blind Side, Gridiron Gang, Antiques Roadshow, World War II movies, The History Channel, Disturbia, Paranormal Activity, or Scream, the Twilight movies, the True Blood series, Vampire Diaries, Pirates of the Caribbean, Castaway, Survivor Man, any of the Jason Bourne movies, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies, Jeff Dunham, Family Guy, Once Upon a Time, Beastly, Grimm, or How It's Made, Prototype This, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, or Hugo Cabret. If you haven't seen or don't know any of these movies or TV shows, you can kind of skip this slide. This is more for people who recognize these titles. If you don't, it's okay. You can still get your results without these. So this is what your parents or friends might say about you. So they might say that you're curious and you ask a lot of questions. You play too many role-playing games online. You are very inventive or are good at creating new things to make your life easier. You are a good listener. You are a shoulder to cry on. You're a boy crazy girl or a girl crazy boy and like to spend too much money. You're great at catching, pitching, kicking a ball, something to do with sports. You know a lot of useless facts like names, dates, etc. You scare them sometimes. You are too obsessed with Twilight. You are a daredevil. You're always looking for adventure. You are practical and would be great living in the woods. You're a class clown. You're a drama queen or a king and are always singing or dancing, or you should have been born in the future. If any of those kind of describe you or you think someone might say that about you, put a tally next to that. So now you're going to add up your tally marks and circle your top 3 letters. So this is something that you kind of are interested in. These would be your top genres based on this quiz, although this is not super scientific. So if you chose A, it would be mystery, B would be fantasy, C would be science fiction, D would be realistic fiction, E would be like chick literature or romance, F would be sports, G would be historical fiction, H would be scary, ghost stories, stuff like that, I would be supernatural, something with powers, J would be adventure, K graphic novels or manga, L would be humor and realistic fiction, and M would be fairy tales, and N would be dystopian, so like the Hunger Games. It's something, a new world has been created. So, now that you kind of have an idea about what genre you might be interested in, I'm going to give you some options to figure out where you could find some books. So one of my favorite sources or resources is called Epic Reads. They have their own YouTube channel and they kind of go over a lot of different books for young adult fiction. So they kind of give you all of these. They can give you a rundown. They have audiobooks, whatever. So the part that I want to show you is the book trailer. So this kind of gives you a look into what the book would be about, like a movie trailer, but it's for a specific book. So if you kind of scroll through, you can see they're very, very short. You can kind of watch these different types of trailers and see if it's something that would interest you. And then you could hopefully find that book online through your library, or maybe you can find an audio version on YouTube, something like that. So the last thing I